Welcome back to Fireside Giants with your boys, Alex and Anthony. And as if the Giants couldn't get through the bye week any healthier, let alone Xavier McKinney just dropping us a freaking bombshell, we can't even get through bye weeks healthy, my friends. I don't know what the hell is the problem with this team and the injuries, the consistency of them every single season. You'd think that the bye week would be like the only time that your team could remain healthy. Like, there's no way, right? There's no freaking way. But no. Xavier McKinney, and it seems like an accident, so I'm not blaming him entirely, but it definitely does sound a little irresponsible. We'll talk about that. But Xavier McKinney just dropped on social media something that we all did not want to hear. He said, during our bye week, I went away to Cabo. While there, I joined a group of a guided sightseeing tour on ATVs. Unfortunately, I thought he was just going to be like, yeah, I had a great time. Unfortunately, I had an accident that injured my hand. The injury will keep me sidelined for a few weeks. I will do everything I can to get back as quickly as possible so I can contribute to what we're building here in New York. He must have fallen off the ATV, or flipped the ATV and his hand got stuck, or his hand. I mean, I don't know if it's a broken wrist. I don't know if it's broken fingers or dislocated or sprained wrist. It could be a myriad of different things. It doesn't sound like he blew his hands off like JPP did, but I'll tell you what, this is like the worst thing that could happen on our bye week, our starting star safety to go down like this as we're about to take on, the Texans, a team we have to beat. We're 6-2, really trying to make something happen here. A little irresponsible. I mean, look, you're ATVing. It's a guided sightseeing tour. I'm not going to sit here and say sound like it's a perilous adventure. I don't, I would do that if I was playing football, whatever it might be. It's ATVs. You're just driving. It's basically like driving a car on a little bit more rocky terrain. Obviously was not capable of doing so, flipped it over, whatever might have happened. This is definitely annoying. Anthony, I want to get your impression on this, your reaction, because right now I'm just kind of pissed off.
Yeah, I mean, me too. I'm not really pissed at Xavier McKinney. Accidents happen. I don't want to, harp on the guy too badly, but it seems like it might have been a little bit irresponsible to go ATVing during the bye week. But again, accidents happen. Couldn't have foreseen this. I just hope that he recovers as soon as possible and gets back on the field, because my initial thoughts here are this is a captain of the defense, so we need his leadership in the locker room and on the field. And additionally, this is the defensive play caller. And I think that's the big thing to keep in mind here, is that the defense has been running very smoothly because Xavier McKinney has been on the field basically acting as the quarterback of the defense. He's been getting the play calls in from Wink Martindale and relaying that info to the team and really keeping the defense in line and making sure that they're in position to succeed. Not having him out there to relay those play calls is going to be really, really tough for the New York Giants. I'm not sure who's going to pick up the play calling duties now. There's a good chance that it's going to be one of the inside linebackers, but as we know, there's a little bit of some overturn going on at that position. Tay Crowder kind of being taken out of the lineup for Micah McFadden. Are they really going to trust Micah McFadden to call the plays? Or maybe they just keep it in the safety position, give it to Julian Love. I think that's probably the best course of action here. But again, this is not a problem that you want to have to solve this deep into the season. We've had our play caller, and he's done an excellent job all year. Xavier McKinney, his absence is going to be felt. No, he's not putting up insane numbers, getting an interception every other week like he started to towards the end of last year. Totally dominant last year. Maybe his stats aren't as impressive as they were, but he's still playing really good football, and he's still very instrumental to the success of the New York Giants defense. So this is a huge loss for the Giants.
A massive loss. I mean, talk about being an instrumental piece. He is the entire secondary beyond that first level of corners. The Giants play a lot of cover one. They play a lot of, single high safety looks, and he is the guy back there holding it down. And he's a big reason why teams are not throwing the ball downfield. Obviously the Giants are blitzing a lot and forcing the ball out quickly, but they're not taking shots downfield very often because they're scared that McKinney has that sideline to sideline range. He can make big plays. And now we're going to have him, he said a few weeks. Who knows how long that could be? That could be 2 or 6 weeks, depending on the recovery process of his hand. I don't know what happened to his hand. Maybe we'll find out more in the coming hours here, but this sucks. Who you mentioned, who takes over in this loss. I'd have to say that you're probably looking at Dane Belton and Julian Love being the supplementary pieces here. Belton's probably going to, fill that Julian Love strong safety role. Maybe Landon Collins is forced back into a safety role now because of the injury. But Julian Love, I imagine, has to play free safety, right? Like Belton, I guess, could, but Julian Love's the guy I would look at to do that. He's about to get a nice little contract extension. Looking at him, I think Love has the most experience back there. He's got the range. He's got those, the vision and IQ. He's the only other person I genuinely trust to like hold it down in McKinney's absence. So you're looking at Belton to take on a big step here, take a big step forward and really fill in that strong safety role and be that primary guy to then replace Julian Love, who has to now shift his position. So, what are your thoughts on maybe Landon Collins getting a couple more reps here, maybe filling in if they're going to play three safeties, use those three safety looks, maybe Landon Collins on his slots back into strong safety alongside Dave Belton, where Love can kind of, roam in the defensive backfield playing free safety.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting scenario to throw out there. I'm not sure if I exactly foresee that happening. I feel like at this point in his career, Landon Collins kind of has to play linebacker because he's lost a step. He's not fast enough to play safety, in my opinion, unless you're going to have him play strong safety and have him just strictly play in the box, which is almost what he's doing at the linebacker position. He's just a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. So I'm not sure if I see Landon Collins being the solution to this problem. I do think that Julian Love and Dane Belton getting increased playing time, that is the solution here. But one thing that I will say, Alex, and I'm curious to hear what you think about this, the Giants are currently in the middle of a negotiation with Julian Love, and he's trying to prove his value, and he's trying to get his money. Now, instrumental to the defense for the second half of the season, he might have some more negotiating power here. The Giants might have to cough up a little extra bit of change for Julian Love. I mean, you kind of think about it, he's supposed to be the second starter out of the safeties on this defense. Xavier McKinney is supposed to be number one. If Julian Love elevates into that first starting position at safety and dominates, has like a really good second half of the season, plays so well that, he's maybe looked at as the full-time number one starter at safety for the rest of the year, I mean, he's going to head into this offseason and he's going to want more money from the Giants. So this is kind of one of those things where this is like a totally almost unrelated, but it's related problem that's going to spawn from this. But looking at the status of the New York Giants right now and this Xavier McKinney injury, this is just one of the many confounding variables to keep in mind. So Julian Love, yeah, I expect him to step into this role and probably thrive. Every time we've seen him step into a role in a whim and a pass, he's always thrived. If you think back to his rookie season, Jabril Peppers suffered an injury, missed the final, I believe, 8 weeks of the year. Julian Love stepped into his role as a rookie and played really, really good football at that strong safety position. So we've seen him do this before, and I'm not going to be surprised to see him step into that strong safety role and play really, really well. But for Julian Love, who's in the middle of negotiating a new contract, this is the perfect opportunity for him. And he's going to play some good football right now because he rises to every occasion. And again, that'll be great for the Giants to have a player rise to the occasion and play good football. But because he's in the middle of negotiating a contract, it'll get really interesting. So, Alex, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on how this can kind of sway Julian Love's negotiating powers.
I mean, look, we know his versatility. We know how dynamic he is in the way that he can play different positions. And he's just going to be like, hey, man, look, our star free safety just went down. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to play some good ball at free safety, a position that I no longer play. I play strong safety. They move him around pretty nicely, but they drop him into that free safety role every now and then. But that's not his primary position anymore. It's strong safety. He plays really down in the box and helping to stop the run and whatnot. So, and really man up against some of those really good tight ends. So when you're looking at Love right now, he's like, this is just another example of now you don't even have to freaking worry. Like his representatives are saying, your star safety just went down and you don't even have to worry because Julian Love, one of your young, bright, valuable players, can fill that role and you don't even have to skip a beat. Like that's just more power to him. If I'm Julian Love, get the bag, man. Go get your bag. This is a great example of why he deserves it. He's a nice young player. He can fill a multitude of different roles. I have a ton of respect for him. We've been huge fans of him for a long time. I know you guys also agree. Just a great player. And, this is why you have him. This is why you have the pieces like him, kind of those utility guys, like you'd say in baseball. He's a utility player. He can play a lot of those different secondary positions. And this is just another example of why you need a guy like him on the roster, whether it's $7, $8, $9 million per season. He's extraordinarily valuable. And he's healthy. He's reliable. He had a concussion like 2 weeks ago, came back, played the next week. This is an extremely reliable player. He's never been injured, really, knock on wood. So this is definitely a guy that I'd say is well deserving of a contract. He's going to come in and he's going to play really well in the absence of Xavier McKinney. I have no doubt about that. So I'm very excited to see, how he takes on this opportunity and runs with it. So if that answers your question, Love, his contract right now, this is just another variable that says to the Giants how valuable he is. And he might be able to squeeze out a couple extra bucks because of it, So what do you think right now? If you're looking at a contract and you're looking at seeing, how much he was going to make, maybe let's say $7.58 million, you think maybe he kicks that up to 8.5 now? Do you think he actually gets any more money because of this?
I think it's possible because he's a very valuable player for the New York Giants defense, and right now he's being asked to prove just how valuable he is. So if he proves to be as valuable as what he was originally, then okay. But he might have a really good second half of the season and prove to be even more valuable, and maybe moves that money up towards 9 or 10 if he plays that well. Because other teams around the league are going to look at him and say, how did he play in that full-time starting gig? And can we pay him to be that full-time starting player? And will he play better than he used to with the New York Giants? So the market price could potentially go up here. I think that's something that, the New York Giants were cognizant of. I think that's why they were trying to get an extension done during the bye week, and hopefully they get it done as soon as possible so we don't have to see him play a really good second half of the year and increase his value, increase his worth. But I don't know how much more money he could squeeze out of the New York Giants from the rest of the season playing in the starting position in lieu of Xavier McKinney. But I think there's an opportunity he gets out an extra million or two in the cap hit. So it'll be interesting to see. But again, I'm predicting that he's going to play really well because I think that Julian Love is a great player. And I think that every time he's been put in this position, he's risen to the occasion. He's done well. It is going to be really difficult for the Giants, though, to not have Xavier McKinney out there. And I think that the way that they need to supplement this is, yes, with Julian Love and Dane Belton. But again, I'm very worried, Alex, and I want to know your thoughts on it about the play calling situation because Xavier McKinney, I mean, the defense has just been running so smoothly. I don't think I've seen like any play since week 1 or 2, which is typical, where the Giants have been just completely in disarray, lack of communication, nothing like that. The Giants defense have been communicating extremely efficiently. And that I have to give credit to Xavier McKinney as a play caller, first-year play caller. I think he's done a tremendous job helping run the defense with Wink Martindale. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on that and how big of a loss it is for the Giants to not have their main play caller on defense.
I mean, look, another credit to Julian Love. He's going to be playing calls. He's going to be calling plays. So if I had to guess, your only other option is Tate Crowder, and they're phasing Tate Crowder out of the defense right now for Micah McFadden. So, I don't trust Jalen Smith. He's still very new to this defense. Landon Collins, I don't trust. He's also new. If there's anyone that I think is deserving of the opportunity, it's your captain. It's Julian Love. He is a captain on this defense, man. He has the C on his chest. Am I not? Am I wrong? So I'm pretty sure you look at him and you say, you're our guy. You're calling the plays. I mean, you're taking over that spot. You're taking over that role. He is deserving of it. He's humble. He's a leader. I think that he's fully warranted getting that opportunity to call plays on the defensive side. So that's what I expect. That's what I think will give him even more leverage in his contract negotiations. And I'll tell you what, Xavier McKinney definitely just did him a favor because he gave him a really good opportunity to showcase his value even more so than he already did. So that's what I think. I'd love to hear your guys' perspective below in the YouTube comments, on Xavier McKinney, on Julian Love, what your thoughts are about this injury. It's definitely a little frustrating. Do you blame him? Do you think he should have been doing that? I have no problem with him going to Cabo and hanging out in the sun and whatnot, but maybe like keep the off-roading extreme sports to a minimum. Like maybe that's something to consider, but I'm not going to sit here and tell him how to live his life. He can make those decisions for himself. Obviously he put his team in a tough spot doing it. So he probably regrets it now. But he probably thought it was an easy thing to do, go ATVing, whatever. Not a big deal, safe, relatively safe. Not many injuries happen on there. I would probably think the same thing, but it sounds fun. Let's go do it. But at the end of the day, obviously it turned into something a little bit more serious, and it happens. He made a mistake. I'm not going to sit here and bash him over it. He's one of our best young players, and he'll be back this season seemingly. So, we just got to survive in the meantime, and hopefully, guys like Julian Love can step up and make an impact here, and Landon Collins and Dane Belton specifically. So I'm excited to see who rises to the occasion and makes a bigger impact in the absence of McKinney. But as always, make sure to drop your comments below, like, subscribe. As always, enjoy this beautiful weather in New York City today at 75 degrees. I feel like I'm on an airplane. We're about to land. But hopefully you guys enjoy the weather as always as winter quickly approaches. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Giants episode.